I'm disappointed in myself. Usually I'm one take Kenny. I come out here with the notes, boom, boom, boom. Here's what I saw. Here's what's interesting around basketball. Then we get it out. I'm on like take 8. Are you serious? Let's not get the OKC Thunder won a clutch game against the Denver Nuggets. Didn't even know it was possible to beat the Denver Nuggets in the clutch. OKC just did it. Shout out to them. Ties up the series. They needed this game desperately. You don't want to have to try to win 3 games in a row against the best in the world. It's probably not going to happen. But instead, they tie up the series, and we got to talk about that. And then the Pacers won a game by like 60 points, I think. I don't know the final box score. Okay, I'm lying. I can see the final box score. But it felt like a 60-point win in my eyes. They just... You know the Cavalanche is the Pacers need the yes sirs. They need something about when they get that foot on the gas. Whew, okay, we're gonna talk about both, but the Pacers are 1 game away from being in the conference finals and going into this postseason. Everybody was like, well, they might as well just simulate to the conference finals. We know it's gonna be Cavs versus Celtics, and the Cavs are 1 game away from going home, and the Celtics just got their first win of their series yesterday. So the playoffs have been amazing. The playoffs have been unpredictable. So unpredictable that it made me rethink my philosophies. Now to take a step back and say, Kenny, you tripping? Kenny, you really out tripping? Before today's games tipped off, I was talking to myself in here. Not like, ain't no wrong with talking to yourself aloud, but I was in here just thinking things, looking through some notes and stuff. And I was asking myself, how much does depth matter? Because so far it hasn't mattered too much. And I don't mean having a good 6th man or 7th man. I mean the depths of the depth. Those teams, like the respective 1 seeds, were really good, because, of course, they have good starting units, but also because they had so much depth, right? You think about the Cavs having Ty Jerome, DeAndre Hunter at the deadline, them having Isaac Okoro, Dean Wade. They just got bodies on bodies on bodies. The OKC Thunder, Joe, Wiggins, Wallace. I'm adding Cameron Williams because he's still a captain on this damn team. Jay Will. And I was just looking at it, again, before today's games tipped off, and like, has that even mattered at this point? The Denver Nuggets are up 2-1 as I'm having this conversation with myself. And I'm like, the reason they're up 2-1 is because they just have a bunch of continuity and they have a 5-man unit that you really trust. Of course, Brody has been great in the series, not so much tonight. But for the most part, depth has not mattered to them. We all look at that roster and say, like, nah, they ain't really got Zeke Naji gonna play? Probably not. Dario Saric, they signed. He ain't even touched the floor. But they've been able to stay afloat, win last series, and be up 2-1 in this series without them having depth. And this is a conversation I'm having myself, and then tonight happened. It's like, yeah, actually, I'm tripping. Because a game like tonight where OKC holds the Denver Nuggets to 87, that depth really showed his head. Because Lou Dort was bad today. Full stop. So having a guy like Cason Wallace come in and be able to play some big minutes, having Alex Caruso, who's been phenomenal for this entire series, to come in and do something like this is important. And then in the late game, I get reaffirmed to my original philosophies because Obi Toppin has an amazing game. Benedict Mathurin gets the crowd lit over some stupid stuff. Just don't, basically what I'm saying to you, don't be overthinking your own philosophies based on 1 series or 1 postseason round. It's stupid. But one thing that has not changed, as we talk about the OKC Thunder, is that this defense is legendary. I made the tweet, in the Memphis Grizzlies series. Like, when they were dominating the Grizzlies, I was like, nobody's going to care right now because it's a first-round series, 1 and 8 seed, and this 8 seed don't really look that good. But, like, people will realize how ridiculous this defense is once they get to the next round. And again, this series is tied 2-2, but they just held the Denver Nuggets to 87 points. There's one stat that we've mentioned a couple months ago. I don't know if it was on the podcast or on here, but I'll mention it again. And it's relative defensive rating. It's like, how good are you compared to your peers, right? Historically. This OKC team is the best relative defensive team ever. And you see it tonight. The best in the world, Nikola Jokic, basically gave us 2 back-to-back stinkers. Now, he gave us a couple moments in this one in the second half. I think he was better than the first half. But we've never seen Nikola Jokic struggle as much as he's struggling right now. I've never watched a game of Nikola Jokic and thought that he was getting to his own head mentally. He's there right now. That is the best defense. And when you have Lou Dort, who is going to make all defensive. Has all defensive teams been released yet? I don't think it has. Lou Dort is going to make an all defensive team. He'll probably be like an all defensive first team candidate. You would think like, man, we can't have him on the floor right now because his offense is so trash. How do we make that up? Well, Alex Caruso and Cason Wallace exist. Not only do they exist, they do something that Lou Dort does this as well, I guess, because Lou Dort can draw some fouls, offensive like fouls by him running over a screen but falling. He does that quite a bit. But Cason Wallace and Alex Caruso are in the same category of playmaking defensive players. Well, I know tonight Alex Caruso didn't have no stocks. But like these guys can come in, wreak havoc, force turnovers, and so on and so forth. And I felt like we got that. This has been a game about great coaching. This has been a series about great coaching. I felt like throughout the first couple games of the series, when you think about Mark Daigneault making the decision in game number 1 to foul up 3 for whatever, and then in the last game that they lost, they went to overtime. I thought it was weird to not have Chet Holmgren start the overtime. Overthinking. This is one of them games I'm like, Mark Daigneault won this coaching battle tonight. Because it's easy to go with the guys that you know. It's easy to go with the guys that you're used to closing with. But no, this game is too important. So if so-and-so ain't got to go and sit your ass in that bench, and we going to let Caruso and Case and Wallace rock. The one thing I really respect about Alex Caruso, and I love this man so much. I'm so happy that he ended up playing in Chicago. I'm also pissed for him that he played in Chicago, if you know what I'm saying. He deserves to be on championship quality teams. That's how impactful he is. But it doesn't matter what he is shooting from the field or what he's shooting from 3. The Denver Nuggets are a team that's basically saying, we want to see if you got shooters, and Caruso is never going to pass up the opportunity. Even if he's 1 for 5 on the day, he's going to shoot through it because he knows the only way we break this zone is for somebody to make some shots tonight. And nobody made shots in this game. Nobody did. It was really, again, a defensive-oriented game. But Caruso and Kaysen coming in and being player number 2 and number 3 in this game is important. This is a really good Isaiah Hartenstein game as well. I mean, we talk about the defense. Isaiah Hartenstein is playing some of the best defense I've ever seen on Nikola Jokic. Again, this is a team thing. But it's such a weird series because if I told you we're going to have the MVP and the MVP runner-up go into a series and neither of them are going to look phenomenal, you would think it was crazy. I think both teams are playing phenomenal defense and scheming so perfectly against the other MVP caliber players' strong suits. Shea is seeing so many bodies. And I thought that at the end of last game, the last 10 minutes or so, he showcased one of the biggest glaring holes in this game, and that's the lack of trust or the lack of playmaking when he is seeing 2 to 3 bodies, right? They've done a good job exposing, if you will, one of the things in Shea's game that's not developed as much as some of the other superstars in basketball. This game, he gave us a couple quarters. So it was like, that is the MVP caliber player that we know. But that's kind of been it. I was so excited about this, seeing it, Shea versus Yo, but really it's defense versus defense, and the Denver Nuggets are not historically a great defense, right? I think they were like 22nd and 23rd on the regular season, but they've been able to lock in, and I got to give credit to Yoke on that side of the ball because you would think that the anchor of a defense, he deserves some type of credit there, and them being able to play this zone and early in this game force a ton of turnovers. Where this game was really won and lost was the first quarter. 8 points. That is defense, right? And it ended up being a 5-point game. And I never counted out the Denver Nuggets because I would be crazy because I've seen what they did in game number 1. I've seen what they've been able to do. But I truly do believe that the shots generated from OKC in this game were better than the shots generated from the Denver Nuggets. Now, I don't know. There's a stat, shot quality. I don't have the damn statistic, but I'm sure somebody will have it later today. And it will hopefully tell you what my eye test said. It was like OKC generated good looks. They just didn't happen to fall. I don't know if the Denver Nuggets generated the looks that they wanted to generate. You know, I felt like this was one of the few games of this postseason where I was like, that's too much Russell Westbrook. I thought it was just one of the few games in the in this postseason run where I'm like, that's too much Christian Brown. He had a good game, don't get me wrong. He got to the line a ton. He was really aggressive. But him doing that is exactly what OKC would prefer instead of it being the other guys. So it's a really great game for OKC defensively. They shot 35% of the field. But defensively, this is like shows you that they can go, that they can compete. And there was times in the series where I'm like, I don't know if they really can. And this is the 60-plus, almost 70-win team here, right? So anything can happen. It's a 2-2 series, and the best in the world is still over there. And I'm just waiting for it, right? He had the phenomenal game, number 1. I just can't imagine that Jokic has a third stinker in a row. You know what I mean? And if he does, my goodness, that goes to credit to OKC. And then we can add a conversation about Jokic after it, but like if they can somehow force this man to have another bad Nikola Jokic game, because I'm only comparing him to himself, y'all. I know what the stat line is, but I'm only comparing him to him being the best player in the world. And so far in the series, other than game number 1, he has not been the best. He has not looked like the best player in the world. So I feel like there was some other stuff that I want to get to on this one. Oh, not a good dub game. Thank God they were able to pull it out because, yeah, not a good dub game, not a good Chet game, not a good Dort game. And they won. Could be some scary stuff. I like that Isaiah Joe came into this game shooting because he played like 3 total minutes last game, and I just thought, I don't know if he's going to be able to play. He didn't hit any shots. But a team that desperately needs 3-point shooting to get somebody out of a zone, I enjoyed the fact that he came in, and one of the shots he took was crazy, but I'm like, yeah, do that. All right. Switching gears to the Pacers being up 3-1 on the Cleveland Cavaliers. And Donovan Mitchell left this game. I don't even know the significance of his injury. I'm praying that it's nothing heavy because I enjoy watching Donovan Mitchell. But the Pacers, man, I want to see what the stats were before they pulled the starters. But I remember at halftime, they were shooting 54% from 3. And game 1 where they did the same thing. They shot 53% from 3. This team, when they got it going, bro, they're just pure gas. It's nothing you can really do. And last game, I was a little worried for them because the Cavaliers threw that zone out there. Evan Mobley at the top. They forced a lot of turnovers. They forced 11 straight 3-point misses. It got real scary for the Pacers because this was the first game where the Cavs were healthy, if you will. And it's like, okay, now we have ourselves a real series. And then they come out of here and they say, we dare you to run that zone because our shooter's going to shoot today. We dare you to do what you want to do because we're going to force you to turn that pill over. Man, we saw some turnovers here where it's like, we made a basket and you couldn't even inbound the ball. We got like 3 steals off that today. That's insane stuff. And the crowd was electric. And it is just showcasing how unpredictable this league can really be at times. And we're in the middle of the parity era of basketball. And I enjoy it more than any other era that I've been alive for because this type of series historically didn't happen like this. We didn't see the 4 seed, 5 seed go out there and beat a 1 seed often. And it's one game away from happening again. Miles Turner, Obi Toppin, Pascal Siakam. You didn't even need Tyrese Halliburton to score tonight. Some scary stuff. And now they got 3 shots for 1 win. It got so bad. Where's my notebook is probably downstairs still. It got so bad. I clicked the pen. I'm done writing stuff down. There's nothing else to be said. What can I possibly say about this game that the box score doesn't tell you? And, you know, there's going to have to be, because we don't know who's going to go in the bottom half of this bracket, right? Will the Boston Celtics come back to this series and win? Will the Knicks close it out? Yada, yada, yada. The Pacers, man. You think about all the teams in the postseason right now. They have, in this postseason right now, have looked like the best team. And it's not even close. Now, could that be competition-based? It could be. Absolutely, it could be. Right? It could be. But I'm just giving the things that we have today in front of us. The Pacers have looked like the best team. And I'm not saying that means I'm picking them for the finals, damn it. I'm just saying, this is just weird to me. OKC dominates the regular season. No, they struggle in the second series. The Cavs dominate the regular season. They struggle in the second series. The Boston Celtics dominate the regular season. They're struggling in the second series. The Pacers have looked like the best team in this postseason. I don't know, man. And I think there's going to be some type of video that I make or I talk about it big and broader on the podcast. But it's good for hoops when the small markets are able to be. Like, the Cavs are a small market, too, compared to, like, the LAs of the world and everything. But, like, when a small market team that can't get free agents or historically haven't been able to really get free agents, they do it the right way. And like this team did it from the middle, basically. You don't remember the Pacers tanking. They've always been decent. And decent, and you ask Pacer fans at some points of their life, being decent is not worth it, right? Because, yeah, okay, we're going to be the 7th seed and we're going to lose to LeBron. We're going to be the 8th seed. We're going to lose to this team. Yeah, that ain't really worth anything. But they've been able to build it differently to some of these other teams. Some of these other teams tanked like the OKC Thunder. They made a superstar trade, right, to get Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. But the rest, they tanked their way to Dub. They tanked their way to Chet with some lottery help and so on and so forth. So, or I guess Dub was a Clippers pick too. But like the other guys on their team was through tanking, or the Cavs, get Evan Mobley through tanking and then make some big trades to get Donovan Mitchell. So the Pacers like, nah, we just don't like missing the playoffs. And we're going to finesse a few general managers across basketball. We're going to trade Domantas Sabonis for an all-NBA point guard. We're going to trade Malcolm Brogdon for a guy that ain't been good in his first 2 years of his NBA career, but he's going to start here in year 3 and eventually be one of the best defensive players on our team. We're going to draft a guy at the end of the first round or early second round. I don't even remember where the hell Nembhard was drafted. Like, it's just, Again, there's got to be more said about the way Pritchard has been able to build this team. I don't even know how it could be replicated, right? It's a scary ass idea to not have ping pong odds, but they've been able to do it. And again, they're one game away from the conference finals. Speaking of ping pong odds, I'll see y'all tomorrow.